differences. However, I doubt that all of them have understood or shared his main message about human dignity in this planet. We talk about global justice here. The message of Pope Francis is that there cannot be peace, there cannot be human dignity, there cannot be solidarity without justice. And we hope that his legacy and his ideas will resonate, especially in all those attending the funeral today. In today's complex political landscape, we must carefully evaluate the spectrum of governmental actions, identifying those that align with democratic processes and denounce those that dangerously deviate from them. As you all know, because you are all involved in politics, there are political decisions taken by our adversaries in government which we can disagree with, and yet we can understand them. Some of their policies may be damaging, and yet we know where they come from. Some of their moves and tactics would be seen as despicable, and we would challenge them, demanding corrections. And yet, we could consider them a tolerable part of the alternance of power dynamic in functioning democracies. But then, there are some policies, some decisions, some actions, some narratives that are beyond our understanding, that are destroying the very fabric of our democratic societies, and that are beyond the human logic. In these very days, and in the recent years, we have witnessed a multiplication of those actions in many corners of many regions of our planet. Our task is to call those actions by their names, as criminal as they are. If we fail to denounce those actions, we will be accomplice in normalizing practice that prevent from the start any attempt of achieving social justice. Few examples. Can there be social justice in Turkey if academics, journalists, politicians are in prisons, where political plurality, a key component of democracy, is under attack, as it has been shown in the case of the arrest of Saladin Demirtas, the leaders of the Kurdish minority in 2016, or the very recent arrest of Imamoglu, the mayor of Istanbul, who was said to be the real challenger of Erdogan and the winner of that competition. Can there be social justice under those conditions? Can there be social justice on their way to work and school, and where after months of impressive and massive protest, the government of Vučić refuses to take responsibility for their actions and their wrongdoing? Can there be social justice in Ukraine if your country is invaded, civilians are killed indiscriminately, women raped, and kids kidnapped? Could there have been social justice in the Philippines, where under Duterte, thousands and thousands of human beings have been killed with the extrajudicial killings for their presumed alleged war on drugs? Can there be social justice in Argentina, with Milei right-wing libertarian and ultranationalist government increasing inequality and poverty in the country? Can there be social justice in the African Central Republic or in Zimbabwe, where both governments are muzzling the opposition? Can there be social justice in Tunisia with Sayed, when political opponents are incarcerated and political plurality is under attack? Can there be social justice in Nicaragua under Ortega's regime, when reforms of the constitution are tailor-made for the presidential marriage? And can there be social justice in the Middle East, where the entire population of Gaza is risking to be annihilated? Don't get me wrong here. We denounced the 7th of October terrorist attack as the most inhuman one we have seen in that region. And yet, you cannot respond with an equally inhuman strategy, attacking and targeting women, children, elderly, without discrimination. This is not what we expect from a democracy. And to conclude, even if the list is long, can there be social justice in the United States, where Trump systematically undermines democratic institutions by challenging the independence of federal agencies and free media? What was once considered a global model of democratic governments has devolved in a troubling narrative of institutional erosion and democratic backsliding. Comrades, as I said, this list can be longer than that, but we don't have enough time at disposal. But I know that all of you know yourself what and which countries I'm referring to, because you all have witnessed, in one way or the other, forms of injustice in your country. And if it was not in your country, it was in the neighboring country. And if it was not the neighboring country, it was in the region of where you stay in this world. The perpetrators of injustice in our systems are nowadays aligned, and they cooperate with each other. They speak the same language, and it was very eloquently said by the leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi, of hate and discrimination. We must dismantle the fear of the other and replace it with a narrative of unity, dignity, and shared progress. For all these reasons, it is of utmost importance that we all mobilize as progressive forces in unity around the world. We need to reinvigorate the global progressive movement, one that is driven by the belief that a better world is possible. For us to succeed, it is essential to deepen our links with all players like-minded around the world. And together, we can build a common narrative and have a common voice to face this fragmented world that lies ahead. Yesterday was the 80th anniversary of the liberation of my country, of Italy, from the Nazi fascist occupation. We must never forget the sacrifice of the lives of the resistance movements in a country like Italy. Their sacrifice is what allowed the generation afterwards, like mine, to enjoy a system where human rights, freedom of speech, democratic practices are possible. There are forces in this world that are trying to push us to forget that sacrifice or to minimize it. We shall never allow this to happen. And the best way to do it is to unite ourselves under the leadership of leaders like Rahul Gandhi and all the leaders of our parties to make our voice heard in every region of the world. Bella ciao.
Thank you so much, Giacomo Filibeck, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Giacomo Filibeck is the Secretary General, Party of European Socialists. And yes, moving forward to our next distinguished international leaders here on stage, I request all of you to kindly please limit your speech to 2 minutes maximum because we are running short on time. I now request, yes, Mr. Bert Koenders to please step forward. Mr. Bert Koenders, former Foreign Minister, to address the gathering. Yes, I now request Mr. Bert Koenders, former Foreign Minister, to please address the gathering. And I also request you, sir, to please limit your speech to maximum 2 minutes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Gandhi, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It's a great honor for me representing here today the Dutch Labour Party. to be with you here in a very historic meeting. This is, I think, almost 80 years after the importance of this country and later on the Bandung Conference. And we have been inspired, I think, at the time by the leaders of the past, of thinking about how we could build an order in the world that was more equitable and just. And I think the Bandung Conference has to give our an inspiration, not only for new politics in our countries, I think it's extremely important, but also about a new arrangement in our world, which is polarized, which is characterized by disrespect, by unilateralism. I'm limiting myself to 2 minutes, so let me give one plea. It is very urgent in a time of beggar thy neighbor policies, of unilateralism, of inward-lookingness, that together the spirit of Bandung is coming back, inspired by your party, as a force for the Progressive Alliance to work on a new deal between the South and the North. India can be in the lead, Europe can be in the lead. We need a real deal for respectful multilateralism, not only in terms of justice and human rights. I think it's absolutely key. It was just mentioned. Thank you very much. We're in a time of repression, of respect of human rights. Never have been so many people and journalists being killed around the world. But it's also about an equitable economic order. And I think in that respect, the big announcement we're going and have made today on a new beginning for international justice should lead to concrete action. And thank you very much, all of you, in this great city of Hyderabad, to create a new Bandung. A Bandung worldwide with respect for each other, respect for human rights and international justice. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
मुझे कल एक ऐसी घटना हुई, उसके बाद मुझे लगा कि मुझे थोड़ा सा आपके साथ डिस्कस करना चाहिए अभी जो मुद्दा चल रहा है कश्मीर वाला, वो ये समझने के लिए कि एक सिविल सर्वेंट होने के नाते आपकी भविष्य में क्या जिम्मेदारी होगी, और इसी पर्सपेक्टिव से आपको